haven't liked this channel yet, liked this video, subscribe to this channel. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Okay, please like this video. It lets me know that independent thought is not dead. And why subscribe? Why? Because you want vicarious beach life and fish tacos. Don't we all? Dear Diary, James and I have just woken up in the most stylish Airbnb in a city described as heaven on earth. I can't wait to spend a month here exploring San Diego's beaches and fish tacos, enjoying the temperate weather and fish tacos, and living my best quarantined life in San Diego while eating fish tacos. But there's a hiccup. We arrived at the Airbnb late last night. Don't get me wrong, this place is stylish as all hell, but it smells like, oh, all hell too. I think this place is marked, if you know what I mean. Possibly this sofa, possibly right where I'm sitting. So I'll be spending the day cleaning the condo and clearing out a few drawers for our daily use. Since we'll be here for a month, it's important to me to know where things go and feel like what I might need is easily accessible. We're gonna go grocery shopping this morning to fill up the fridge with food. We're gonna cook and eat from home as much as we can. Below its surface, this condo is actually really lived in, so I'll spend today deep cleaning the condo where it could use a little more work. I'll need to wash the sofa pillowcases, reorganize and wipe down the kitchen, and establish where my clothes and things will be housed for a month. I don't mind doing a deep clean because doing these chores once can eliminate a month of daily griminess. I'm willing to do this because this Airbnb is my home for the next month. I hope that anyone else finding themselves slightly grossed out by a sticky kitchen cabinet or cluttered bathroom drawer finds some time to deep clean as well. I have a lot of opinions on the subject of consumerism, and stepping into someone else's space tends to jog my thoughts on the subject. However, I don't care to prescribe how people should live. I just want to be an example of what's possible, to offer people more space, fewer distractions, more time, and more liberty. So here's to cleaning. Here's to a new beginning with a blank slate. So I thought I'd wrap up this video with some sentiments on how and why are we moving to San Diego for a month? What about your apartment? It's still there, we're just paying for it and not living in it. Next? No, not next. Isn't that financially irresponsible to pay rent and book an Airbnb at the same time? People find it off-putting to pay rent for a space that you don't live in. I think that's a fallacy between the story we tell ourselves and the actual transaction that's happening. We budgeted for this trip, and the total budget on my end is something in the ballpark of 3% of my annual income. And so that might seem like a lot, but keep in mind that the average American spends 1% of their annual income on alcohol alone, and then 3.5% on shopping. Keep in mind that 3.5% is just monetary. The sheer amount of time that goes into browsing and researching, comparing, deal hunting online, that is significant too. Alcohol and shopping don't do nearly as much for me, and so it's really helpful for me to think in those terms. Since I've minimized those activities in my life, I've found more liberation and more interesting hobbies to take their place. The stories that we tell ourselves, like, you can't possibly experiment with your life. It makes no sense to some people that you do this or that. You can't possibly move, or A has to happen first before you do B. Frankly, it's not healthy to live according to what other people think. They would limit you from doing almost anything. And so I encourage everyone to limit the amount of stories that you believe in favor of viewing the purchase price of things as transactions. And then for the rest of life, the things you can't quantify and the things that you can't put a price tag on, Those are the things that deserve our laser focus. Life is short, and I'm not wearing my watch, but I do believe the time is now. Okay, other questions. Why San Diego? I think it strikes a really wonderful balance of being different and far away, but still local to our home state of California. We considered Austin, Seattle, even Melbourne. It's not as fast-paced and short-termed as a lot of California's bigger cities, but it has, a pace. So far, the culture seems focused on the outdoors and fitness, which I know I could use a little more of. One look at my pale, undefined arms and people know I'm not from San Diego. My arms are, I Zoom for a living arms. Why now, with COVID-19 and all of its restrictions? We're trying to be as safe as possible. I feel tense when I see people bumping into one another at the grocery store, or somebody's not wearing their mask out on the sidewalk. But I also feel tense when I think about the judgment that people have for others. I'm sure that I'm going to meet the disapproval and disappointment of folks who prefer to stay more isolated at this time. I understand that, and I think my best response is that if you've been watching my videos, you know how passionate I am about minimalism and simple living. But if you don't live so simply, I'm not judging you. I wish the best for you, and I wish for you to weigh the pros and cons in your life and to have the courage to do what is right. And since that's what I put out into the world, that's kind of what I hope to receive back. Similarly, how are we going to enjoy San Diego with all of the COVID-19 restrictions? Well, so far we've been to a few beaches. Each one is extremely unique. There's Wind and Sea Beach in La Jolla, Pacific Beach where it's kind of like rowdy and a bit too crowded for my taste, and Ocean Beach, which is dog friendly and very scenic as well. So, the beaches are there and we try to practice social distancing and we wear our masks. It's been really lovely and well worth the trip on its own. But we've also been walking through downtown corridors like the Gas Lamp and Little Italy, and then also, exploring places like City Heights and other areas in San Diego. It's also kind of nice to be able to walk around and not be drawn into shops and cafes. I think for an anti-consumerist, it actually works out really well to just peacefully and quietly explore a city. If that sounds like, watching paint dry for you, then so be it. But I guess if it's with James, then it's magic paint, and the world is our canvas.